Alrighty guys, it is day one of the AR Lead Summit. We are here in beautiful Dallas, Texas. If you guys do not know what AR is, it is our CRM partnership that does all of our back-end stuff at MW and at my consulting company full time. And they help coaches essentially service more people and create a bigger impact. The whole point of this weekend is essentially network, learn more into advertising, learn more into offer creation, sales, etc. It's pretty much a networking event for high-ticket coaches that want to expand their impact in their network, right? We're starting the day off with a quick little 5:30 in the morning workout. And if you guys have never watched a YouTube video of mine, you will know that I never train at this time. And for good reason, because my entire body hurts and I just hate training in the morning. I like to have some food in me. But sometimes, if there's a will, there's a way, and you got to get it done. So we're here. We have the CEO of AR, Mike Krausen, and the CEO of Reliant Fitness, a 7-figure fitness coaching company, Brad Dunn. They're kind of going head to head with a little bit of who is the leanest and the most sculpted for the event. So I'm working with Brad a little bit right now to work on his posing. So they're going to do a little pose now, which is kind of humorous in the beginning of the event, and then it's going to go into business. So if you are an online coach that is watching this video, I'm going to walk you through A to Z at some point in this YouTube video on how to launch an online coaching company, how to create an offer, how to create fulfillment, how to learn how to market on social media, how to literally convert people in the DMs onto sales calls, and then how to close on a sales call so you get your first converting paying client. I'm going to walk you through A to Z. This YouTube video is going to be a little bit longer than it typically is because I want to give you just the raw, cold truth on what it takes to be an online coach in 2025, 2026. Let's go. Much different this time around. Fatter, more pale.
This time around.
Not as hairless.
This episode?
Yeah. As you can see, my face kind of lost a jawline.
What are you weighing right now?
I'm honestly close to the heaviest I've ever been. I'm sitting right around 223, 224. The last time I was this weight, I was definitely like bigger in the face and just bigger with more body fat. So love to see that I'm back at the highest weight I've ever been, but just in a leaner composition. And again, for people that are watching this, when you're chasing your dream body, it's not always about the number on the scale. Okay, it's how your body composition looks at said number. You might be 200 pounds, 220, 180, whatever the number is, right? Year over year, as you do proper growing phases, dieting phases, and also as you learn to just like be in tune with your physique and maintain it. A lot of people don't know how to just prevent the scale from just fluctuating up and down. You're gonna notice that at the same body weight, you look leaner. Your muscle presses up against the skin a little bit firmer, creating just a better, well-rounded look. That's what body composition is, okay? It's the percentage of muscle tissue, fat, skeletal muscle, body fat, and just your overall physique, how it looks at that given body weight. That's what you're looking to improve. Sure, when you're going on a growing phase, you want your weight to go up. Same thing with the dieting phase. At the end of the day, everybody's chasing a body composition. So it's just as a lesson learned that you're not always chasing the scale, you're chasing a look, and you're chasing a feel. Good little reminder for you. Brad,
Matt.
this is my kind of day of posing client, we'll call it. Brad is honestly one of the coaches in the space that I personally look up to a lot.
Thank you.
Runs a massive fitness coaching business. We got Mike over there, we got Brad. We're gonna do a little posing session, and they got a little showdown going on in the next few hours. So I gotta be Team Brad here for a little bit.
Okay.
Mike knows how to pose.
Yeah,
He's got a little
fair.
bit. He's got a good coach over there. So we're gonna make sure it's competitive. But let's do it. All right, guys, so we're actually doing a little bit behind the scenes on what ad creation is going to look like for a consulting company that does over 100K a month. So this is my business partner, Will. We're about to film. Hopefully we can get it in the first try, and if we don't, it's probably going to be my thing.
Not likely. Did you ever notice how every single business coach, did you ever notice how every coach for, every business coach for fitness trainers, there we go. Yeah. Did you ever notice how every business coach for fitness trainers doesn't actually train clients? We're here at Full Time. Every single one of our coaches is actively running a fitness program doing well over $30,000 a month. Take it from our head coach, Matt here.
What's going on, guys? My name is Matt. I am currently the owner of MW, and I'm the head coach here at Full Time. Currently doing over 50K completely organic, no ads run. I'm gonna have to go there. See, ad creation at its finest. You're gonna stutter, you're gonna mess up. Of course, when I'm shooting YouTube, I can just chat. But when the ad camera comes on, I stutter a little bit. But guess what? You'll never see it. That's the beauty of content creation, guys. Is you gotta just put yourself out there and you gotta talk. It's a skill that you develop over time. Take it from him.
Yeah. As many takes as as many takes as you need to take to get it right. 4, 5, 6, 7, you never know.
Thank you, sir.
Alright, so our little surprise, I know you guys are all fitness coaches, so you may have been around this before. We have a little mini bodybuilding show, so we're gonna kick off. So let's go ahead and welcome Mike Rowson and Brad Dunn to the stage.
Yeah!
Matt Wade.
Yeah.
For $1,000.
Here you go. Yes, for a whole $1,000. And you guys are going to be the ones that are going to be judging this bodybuilding show.
So I'm gonna be your, I guess, moderator today, or the MC. We're gonna do a front shot, a side shot, a back shot, and then your favorite, maybe a little bit of a pose down depending on how I'm feeling. And yeah, let's kick it off. All right, gentlemen, let's start with front double bicep. Let's go! Side chest. Back double bicep. Yeah. This is unreal. All right. Favorite classic pose. Nice. Let's see a most muscular. Hell yeah, gentlemen. This is for Mike Rowson. For Brad Dunn. All right, my man. Good stuff.
Thank you, bro.
Stuff. I work with AR in actually 2 different ways.
Okay.
Yes. So from a fitness coaching side and a business consulting side.
All right, are you partnering with them as well?
Correct. So me and one of the keynote speakers, Will Jerome, we run a company called Full Time Fit Coach.
Okay.
And so we are partnered with AR in terms of they do more of the software and the technology on the coach's side, and we do more of the offer, ads, etc. So what made me say yes to being a part of AR's 2025 Lead Summit? Well, for starters, I came last year and had a blast at the first one they ever put together. Me and my videographer are actually just talking about this. When you come here, you really kind of see present day how intimate and kind of small actually this coaching industry is comparatively. And it's just super cool to see all the different individuals and how everyone's fulfilling and servicing their own businesses in different angles in different ways. And especially the coaches that are working with busy moms, and you have the coaches that are working with dads who want to find their spark again and get jacked, and just seeing the different angles on all the different lives we are impacting. That to me is the sole reason I got into coaching, is to truthfully, I genuinely feel like I was put on the planet to help other people, and coming here reminds me of that.
in a world where there's a lot of information out there and it's almost harder not to find the information, but to filter out the fake from the genuine. That is what I feel like AR, the coaches that work for AR, they all align in the sense that we actually want to deliver a service versus the get rich quick online coaching mindset that, you know, has kind of, I hate to say poison, but like has definitely run a little bit more rampant in the industry. I think AR really does a good job sorting and qualifying their coaches and bringing people together under that same mission.
How did it feel being here, connecting with the crowd and seeing how they responded to your message?
27-year-old from New Jersey, like, has the opportunity to step on stage and answer questions for other coaches who want to replicate and do what I've done is really special. So just grateful is the first word that comes to mind. After winning my IFBB Pro card, we did an entire, like, really genuine YouTube series on it where it was not like, it was raw. It was like emotional, truthfully. And I think the amount of people, and my business is 90% lifestyle, for context too. It's not like a bodybuilding prep business. We have that, but it's more of the top like 5-10%. Just the raw and the emotional like aspect of that YouTube series and how long form content is becoming more and more popular for building trust. The amount of like trust that I was able to leverage from that YouTube series, we were doing on average like 35, 40K, and which is like 2 months ago, it was like boom, 45, 50K record.
Well,
So,
you said 50K.
yeah.
Can I see this awesome little flag?
Yes, I have one of these. Thank you guys. Again, AR makes it possible, right? Like without the leadership from AR, without the systems, without Baker in 2023, just essentially building out our entire infrastructure and just getting into AR at the right place, right time. I don't even think they even offer that service anymore potentially. Like, just grateful. I have one of these in my office and I'm looking to get that one next, the 75K and then the 100. So the sky's the limit when you work at AR, guys, truthfully.
Oh, what a long ass day. Alrighty guys, we are done, pretty much done with AR Lead Summit, day one. It was a very extensive information overload day, but it's these events that leave you so motivated as a business owner to come back, audit what you're currently doing, and just make implementable changes. And if you're coming to an event like this and you are not actually implementing the knowledge that you're learning, you're really selling yourself short. So there's a lot of things that I want to do differently at MW. Number one, just continuously pour into the client experience, but also like learning as a business owner too, that I can't help everyone. And it's a pill that I need to honestly swallow a little bit and learn that I have to sometimes take myself a little bit out of the business in order to work on the business. In order to further and impact more lives, I might in the short term have to pull back and take less. As a business owner, it's a scary and a hard pill to swallow. So that's something that I've learned, that, you know, just my passion to help others, I tend to spread myself too thin. And I know a lot of you guys watching this, like, you feel the same, right? And you feel like you have to wear every single hat in your business. And when you first start online coaching, you do. You have to learn how to be a content creator and marketer, and obviously eventually an advertiser. You have to be a coach that can actually deliver and get the results that you're selling. You have to be someone who has soft skills and can message. You have to be a sales closer and a 6-figure, 7-figure sales closer. It feels like you might have to be. At the end of this video, I'm going to walk you through everything that I learned from this AR Summit and all of my years in online coaching since 2019. I'm going to give you free game on exactly what you need to do. If you want to start an online coaching company and go from 0 to 10K in the next 6 months, I'm going to drop some free game at the end of the video to show you exactly what I would do and what you have to do in 2026. And I know I started that in the beginning of the video, but I want to double down on it, especially after day one and after all of the knowledge and networking with other 5, 6, and 7-figure coaches, and just how we all differ, but also how we're all similar in terms of how we want to create impact and help lives. I'll leave you guys with this. We're headed into a Dallas, Texas barbecue where I'm gonna get some much earned barbecue style food, and I'm very excited for that. And guys, I just appreciate you guys staying with me this whole time. And this is the power of social media, and this is the form of content that is really going to be the difference maker as the coaching industry continues to scale, as AI gets more embedded into our industry. It's long form content. It's content like this that builds trust, because at the end of the day, trust is the prerequisite of somebody making an investment in your coaching company, and more importantly, in you. So we're gonna go eat some food, and I'll talk to you later. What's going on, guys? My name is Matthew Basardo. I'm the owner of MW Fitness. We do a wide range of things, and I think after this event, I think I've learned to probably try to niche down a little bit more. But contest prep, wedding prep, general weight loss, blood work analysis, you name it. The way I would like to define my business, rather than the stereotypical busy professional, is more or less trying to give people a sense of community. I really want to build MW to be more along the lines of like a fitness, hypertrophy, physique-oriented run club, where we do numerous in-person events, cold plunging, team lifts, etc. So I would say the way that I'm leaving this weekend is more or less about giving people the structure and family and community, and using fitness to bring people together. So that's going to be more my spark go forward. When somebody comes into your business, that onboarding, that first impression is everything. That's where you can set the tone, set expectations. That's where you can eliminate a lot of the resistance that just a new program is naturally going to kind of come with, right? This is fitness. Everybody has a different story. Everyone has different like upbringing. So your ability to legitimately set the tone, demand success, if you will, and start your framework appropriately is everything. So I think AR, just from a clarity and admin standpoint, has just given MW just like the ability to do what we love, which is actually coach, versus being stuck in the admin stuff. So I appreciate you as well. One of the first things that I would do, one of the things I make a lot of my athletes do, like especially earlier on, is like form feedback, right? They send me videos of like their top sets, and you give, voice memo feedback or whatever, right? So especially for, newer clientele and athletes, when I get someone who like demonstrates an RDL like perfectly, I typically ask like, are you comfortable if I were to share this with the community? Constantly kind of sparks our community to be like, for the older athletes and the newer athletes to see the form and see that people are like doing the program successfully, I think gets the community chat rocking and rolling. We also do like some company merch, and we send out like hats, shirts, shorts. For women, we have like hoodies and like cropped baby tees and stuff, and people like tag our stories and we reshare. And then eventually, once you build up enough, I think doing an in-person retreat is everything. So we did one at not too long ago in Houston. We had 4 athletes compete at summer shredding, and I brought like 35, 40 additional lifestyle athletes, and we did an entire team retreat there. We went to the show, went to Alphaland, did a team lift, we did a social night in Houston, and we did a YouTube video on it. And I took that YouTube video and I sprinkled it right back to the other 100 plus people that didn't come. And now I have like everyone begging for the next event, because we marketed it really well to be more like a community. And that's what changed my perspective on my business, to not be a 6-month transformation program. I want to create a community so valuable that even when you are done making your fitness transformation and you feel like you can take it on your own, the community of who you know, your network, and your ability to come to our events, we can keep people in our program for life. So
That's why I said in the beginning, I want to create that like run club type environment where people go to a run club, not because they want to run, because they want to meet people. Right. And so bridging that gap does take time. I think you can't rush community. Like, you can't pay for ads to build a community, in my opinion. You have to do that through just, for lack of a better word, like fucking good service and just keeping people in your program through excellent service, good communication, and team events like that, and it grows over time. So I would start with just like getting the community rocking and rolling, getting people like unified with some merch, like not having to go, you're not trying to sell it to make a profit, you're just selling it so that they have like a piece of like community with them. And then do your first in-person event, and do your first in-person event when you're not ready to do it. Don't feel like you have to be ready to do it, just fucking do it. And I promise you, people will like actually like come together and they'll want to stay a part of it.
Got to be properly caffeinated before the workout. Come on. Shit's hot though. Burnt my entire mouth. One thing that I've always learned by coming to these events is how the top coaches, the first word that comes to my mind is speed. Just like the way they take what they've learned and they implement it 1, 2, 3. And yeah, obviously that can arise problems later on, but their implementation, their sense of urgency is high. And I think a lot of people kick the can down the road. Not even talking fitness, I'm talking like entrepreneurship. They fail to implement and get ahead of the curve and take advantage of that first mover advantage. And I wasn't going to be the coach that basically did that last time. Not saying I didn't learn anything last time from the AR Lead Summit. I learned a lot, but I didn't implement a whole lot right off the rip. And I let myself get behind a little bit there because I was too focused on bodybuilding, on other personal goals, etc. But, you know, there is nothing in the rest of 2025 and honestly 2026 on my mind other than scaling my businesses. I'm not competing. Yes, I'm going to stay in good shape, but, you know, that's my number one goal. Leaving later today, I'm coming back with like a sense of urgency and fire to like get my team. And my team, if you're watching this, there's a fucking hurricane coming back home. We're going to grow. We're going to scale. I gotta, unfortunately, if that requires me reducing some of my clientele in the meantime, or offloading them into another coach so that I can free up time to work on the business, to go ahead and double it next year to impact another 100, 200 people and bring them into MW. You know, that's the short-term sacrifice for that long-term benefit. So speed, implementation, and I guess sometimes you got to take 2 steps back to take 10 steps forward. That's what I'd say. Alrighty, guys, we are wrapping up AR Lead Summit 2025. We got the man in the house, Mike. Mike, I have one final question for you as a business owner putting together communities like this now. Someone that, you know, I aspire to do in my fitness company, bringing people together under one roof, under one common mission to, you know, impact lives, and then, you know, for fitness to get better, right? What would you give me advice-wise in order to build that? Because obviously we both know that takes time, that takes trial and error.
Yeah, I think there's 2 different aspects. You have getting people there, and then what you do once you get there. Most events, like this isn't a retreat, this is an event.
True.
And so everybody loves retreats because you break bread. Most events you don't. And so it's like a meet and greet, you have some drinks. So at the event, I think that everybody should share meals together. The more meals you can share together, the closer relationships and bonds happen. Friday night of us all coming together is usually one of the best nights.
True.
Because now we get to just communicate with each other, and it's not like, nice to meet you, and then passing you leave. So connections are built over meals. And so the more you can get in that tight-knit quarters, you can then talk amongst each other. So that's really important. I think as far as getting people to the event, it's really just trying to say, what's the value of getting there?
Yeah.
And not to say, what are you receiving, but what are you becoming a part of?
Sure.
right? And so obviously I know what you've been doing for quite some time, and you do a really great job of pulling those people together. And it's something that's an always learning. I took so many things this weekend, like, hey, we need to improve this, we need to improve that.
Agreed.
But it's the little things that go the long way. And for any other fitness coaches out there that are looking to do something, how do you incorporate it into your program? How do you make it to where when somebody signs up with you, hey, we have this thing twice a year, 3 times a year, you're going to be able to come out to and hang out and do this, that, and whatever, so that you can get in person, build those relationships, because people's lives get changed online. However, they stay keeping those and don't retract on their goals when they can then take something that's been virtual and put a face and a handshake to it. So you build long-term results when it becomes physical, not just viral. So get out there and just make connections with people, shake some hands, share some sweat together, do hard things together is another one. But then having food and bonding, like those are the big things that I would suggest to continue to nurture those relationships.
I appreciate you. That's 100% what I want to do. And it's a time thing too, right? Like every time we have a new person at MW, we do it every single week. We announce it to our community. Hey, so-and-so, so-and-so, so-and-so have now joined the community. Everybody welcome them. The group chat goes wild and they welcome to the team. You know, some of our clients, believe it or not, sometimes get emotional. Like you guys are like starting your path now, but 6 months from now, watch how you're going to be in our shoes welcoming the new members. So
People just want to be a part of something, and if you can be
They
the
crave
one
that.
helps them find their new fit, because their current fit hasn't served them, which is why they're looking for another connection somewhere else.
So last piece with you, okay? I know you got a lot of things you got to do. How do you market that to bring those people in? Because for me, again, and this is the common thing that a lot of us lifestyle and bodybuilding coaches kind of have in common, is we spread ourselves too thin with the amount of people we can help. We really want to help as many lives as possible. And now I've gotten to the point where I legitimately have 160 members, 4 coaches, women at 50 years old with 3 kids, men who are 60 want to win a Masters Pro card, to 21, 18-year-olds. How do I market that?
So to some degree, you might have different types of retreats or events for different types of people. So the 6-year-old is not going to do one of the same thing as a 21-year-old.
Sure.
I know that this gym is the gym that everyone will come at, even though it's 45 minutes away from my house.
Yes.
Because this is what you guys crave.
Yes.
Not where I go work out at. And so it's like, what do those people want that can fit different niches? And then more people will see that and want to join that. Austin's becoming a massive fitness place. Why? Fitness people are there and they're wanting to migrate to be in the culture. So it's kind of the same thing. So how can you create culture? Maybe it's even in segments of what your current business is. But I think that testimonials are really important. I think when people have wins inside their company, awarding those wins, and then also not posting that they did that win. What I mean by that is,
Yes.
if you told your wife that you were going to get her flowers and then you got her flowers, would they mean as much?
No.
No. So if you got the flowers and then you turn around and reposted it, I learned this from my wife when she's working at a company, that it defeats the whole purpose. So why would I want to showcase I rewarded somebody and did something personal for them, and then everyone else is like, oh, well, you didn't do that for me, or, oh, I thought I was special. So it's just like rewarding people for their tasks and accomplishments versus just collecting a paycheck. And I would figure out the soonest way to give back to that person as fast as possible.
Huh.
Rewarding the first win, because they never get wins and they never get rewarded for doing anything.
And something like physical and
Something
tangible.
physical just locks it in the moment.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate you, as always.
Alrighty, guys, so I want to wrap up this YouTube episode with a little bit of some free game for you coaches out there that are watching this, that are either stuck in personal training, are looking to scale your online fitness business. Maybe you have 5 to 10 clients, you're making a few hundred to $1,000 a month, and you're looking to get to that next level. And so a lot of the time, like, coaches that are in the position that you are, what do they struggle with? It's lead generation. It's getting more people to obviously sign up with you, right? Because when you're first starting, it seems like you have to take everyone and their mother, or everyone that you can like inch, scratch, and crawl to get to come work with you. You're taking anyone, right? You're kind of like the saying goes, like beggars can't be choosers. You kind of feel like that. So there's a couple things that I want to go off the just the rip that a lot of coaches do early on that is one, either outdated or just they just don't work anymore in the industry, where there's a ton of other coaches that are high performing and just as experienced and just as knowledgeable. The first one, honestly, is the coaches that ask for an application in the bio. Okay, this was so 2020 to 2022 era. Look, the CEO of AR, Mike Krausen, says you generally only apply for really two things in your life. You're applying for a credit card and you're applying for an apartment, both of which you have already had a conversation about. You already potentially know what you're getting. You've done a tour, etc., right? You're just looking for the price. Okay. So for you as a new coach that is coming into the industry with a lot of other successful coaches who have a ton of proof of concept, for you to ask someone to apply to work with you, your process is already broken. Okay. Again, people only apply for things that they've seen, heard, and understand. So they don't even know if you can actually like deliver the service you're selling. Why are you asking them to apply for? Okay. What you want to do is you want to set up conversation. Okay. Number two, and I wrote this down so I didn't forget. Number two is you refusing to talk to the camera. Okay. How are people supposed to know who you are and gain that authority and that trust from you if you're posting your physique pictures, if you're posting just workouts? I'm sorry, but it doesn't matter how good of a physique you have. I am an IFBB pro, and I generally do not get clients from posting my physique. Okay, physique doesn't build trust. Physique might grab attention, but if there is no content that actually establishes like who Matt or who you are in the industry, how you break down fitness, how you make fitness digestible, how you just articulate fitness information so that someone could see that, oh, he's not just another meathead who's taking his shirt off. He actually has a personality. He actually can break down fitness concepts, and I enjoy the way that he breaks it down and I understand it. If you're not talking to the camera, like how are people supposed to get to know you and trust you in order to want to buy from you? And if there's one thing that I want you to take away from this, it's that trust is the prerequisite to purchase, to making an investment, to working with you. They have to know, like, and trust you to a certain degree. And the higher level that degree is, the more that you could charge. Okay. And number three, okay, the coaches that are in person, that are generally just lurking around the gym, asking people if they have goals, if they're struggling, or if they're working with another coach and they're happy with the client results. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this, but you're nothing other than a desperate artist. Okay. If you want to actually have a proven, predictable framework to get people interested in your service, you're not spending time in the gym asking people if they're working with a coach and how essentially trying to hard sell them on how you could do it better. Just, I'm going to leave it at that because those people aren't even worth my time. Anywho, okay. So what I want to cover today is I kind of want to cover the 4 C's, which is essentially how you go from creating an offer, handling the fulfillment, moving into social media to convert. Okay, how you use social media these days in 2025 and in 2026 in the future with the AI tools that are coming in, how to actually leverage social media to get people from strangers to high paying clients. Okay, so the first one that I want to go through is what me and my business partner will call an SIN offer. Okay. And rather than going into the specifics on that, if you do have any questions on that, you're more than welcome to, message me. But I think what a lot of online coaches have kind of like skipped and just forgot in, I guess, what you would have already learned in a business 101 class is a business analysis, right? It's like actually understanding what it is you are going to sell prior to going to social media and trying to market it. And I feel like online coaches have kind of skipped that step because they find and see all of these influencers with hundreds of thousands of followers or millions of followers just deciding on any given Sunday to just, I'm an online coach now. And because they have the volume and traffic to do so, it can work in a certain degree. Okay, if you're an online coach that's watching this, you're probably more similar to who I am, which is you're not a big influencer, right? You don't have a massive following and you're looking to get into a space to actually make money, not chase views and likes. You're welcome to come in.
So, what's going on, guys?
What's going on? We're talking about an essay and offer right now.
Oh,
So
I'm about to go present on that. I just gotta get some food first.
all right, what time is that going to be?
2:15. They just pushed it back.
Okay, cool. We got time.
So,
So going back to kind of what I was saying. So again, I feel like a lot of newer fitness coaches are very easily impersonated in terms of what they need to do to start. And they forget that with every business model, you need to have some pen to paper. You need to actually do a little bit of market research and understand what it is you're selling so that your offer actually sounds superior and polished enough so that people don't even question that you as a business owner, that are you even confident in selling it? You feel? So the first things first, and this is going to happen. There's so many people that are walking through that are just like making all sorts of signals and stuff at us. But anywho, what an essay and offer is, the way that me and Will kind of break it up is it stands for superior, it stands for irresistible, and it stands for new. Okay. And so what we do with all of our coaches first and foremost is we need to create an offer that comes across that is superior than the industry standard. What does every online coach do? They do weekly check-ins. They do, custom programming from training and nutrition. But what can we add some flair, some spice, some pizzazz that takes that offer and adds more value and more deliverables that makes the offer just more superior? Things like, community call, things like one-on-one calls, bi-weekly or monthly, things like a resource library, things like in-person events, retreats, workshops, things that are not in your typical online coaching program, blood work analysis, partners with, clinics and HRT, etc., right? Things that are above the industry standard is how your offer becomes superior. Okay. Irresistible is kind of like that, guarantee where you can essentially, through proof of concept, you can ultimately give your clients the opportunity to say, hey, if you follow my proven framework and you do not get the XYZ result, you will get your money back. Irresistibility is all marketing to reduce the level of risk it takes. And from a fitness standpoint, it generally comes with not getting results. But if you have a program that's science backed and is proven to work, the irresistible piece is kind of something that you use a little bit more on the marketing side. Not going to spend a whole lot of time on that. New is something that I would say is something that you need a little bit more of nowadays in the fitness industry, which is more so about how your program is marketed, right? That proprietary blend, that overall method and methodology on how your coaching process works. It's really all marketing. And that's kind of the difference where a lot of coaches get a little uneasy. And there obviously is an ethical barrier that unfortunately a lot of people cross, but you have to wear your marketing hat and then you have to wear your coaching hat. You got to wear your marketing hat until you get somebody into your coaching program or on live on a sales call. And then you can coach them into making a proper decision or if they align with your program altogether. But until you get them there, you kind of have to wear the marketing where you have to have your program sound like it's unique and it's new. Otherwise, most people just look at any fitness offer and just say, been there, done that. And so you don't want your offer to be like that. You want your offer to scream like, I've never heard that before. What is this about? So that N is really about spiking curiosity. Okay. And so that is the first thing that a coach should do if you are looking to get into the online space is take a week or two. Okay. Nobody's asking you to spend months and months on this, but take a week or two and understand who you're trying to sell it for. So your ideal client avatar, what do they want? What are the pain points they're experiencing? And build out a program that doesn't just come across like personal training without the in-person. Because if you take personal training and you take the exact same framework or deliverables into online coaching, you're not going to convert at a high level, because personal training, the value that's in that is you being there in person, right? You supervising your time, your energy. If you take that exact same offer and move it online and remove the most valuable part of what personal training is, then your program is just training, nutrition, and accountability check-ins, right? Just for me saying that, I think we can both agree that it doesn't really sound like a high ticket program. It just sounds like features that anyone could chat GBT. And especially with AI coming out more and more, those coaches and trainers will be replaced. What you want your offer to sound like is, we run a 6-month coaching program. Okay. This 6-month coaching program is built out into 4 phases. Phase 1 is called habit formation and routine optimization, where we take our unique mechanism and our overall methodology of our coaching process, which is called the 5-2 method, and we implement that into your day-to-day lifestyle. Phase 2 is called dieting from the inside out, where we really look to elevate your metabolism, your hormonal function, and really coach you from the inside out to get you feeling and performing at your best self. Phase 3 is called training effectiveness, to reduce injuries, to make sure we're progressive overloading, and to ensure that we are actually doing the exercises through the proper range of motion and the intensity. And then phase 4, external bearing, where we embark on either a dieting phase that's strategic with refeeds, fatigue management, etc., or we move into a surplus and go on a lean growing phase. Okay. When you have an offer that sounds like that, sounds like there's organizational structure, it comes across so polished that your program is actually bigger than yourself, and it's that it's proven, predictable, and repeatable. And that's what people want to buy into. To be honest with you, no one gives a fuck about a meal plan. Okay. People care about how your offer makes them feel. And if your offer just collects information and doesn't create conviction, then you're not going to close at a high clip. Okay. So the first thing that every online coach should do is actually create an offer that is superior, irresistible, and new, so that they come across like they are a professional and an expert in an industry niched out for a specific type of person, their demographic, where they live, or how they think mentally, which is called a psychographic. And last but not least here, and you would think this would go without saying, but your program, your method, your framework has to create a standard of success. And you yourself, as the coach, have to be living, breathing, and preaching that standard. If you can't even embody it yourself, I promise you that energy will come across to your clients and you're going to look fraudulent, right? You have to be living, you have to be more enthusiastic about your offer than anyone on the planet. And I know it sounds kind of like disingenuous or a little bit fake, but that energy is what comes across to your prospective clients. And at the end of the day, sales, online coaching is a collection of you being a phenomenal coach and being able to deliver the results that you want to sell, a fantastic content creator and marketer, and eventually an advertiser, having incredible soft skills and being able to conversate with people in the DMs and convince them and invite them and sell the opportunity to talk to you to see if working together would align and be better for them. And then you got to be able to be a sales closer, right? So like, if you're coming into this game thinking that it's just a bunch of posting workouts and you don't even have to be living and breathing the lifestyle yourself, you're going to be, unfortunately, like, sadly mistaken. And there's going to be coaches out here that run circles around you, and you wonder why they can handle hundreds of clients and deliver an excellent service, because they have an incredible offer. Their fulfillment is unreal. They have a proven system that moves clients on what they should feel, what they should be demonstrating, and how they should be operating in each phase of their program. And they live it themselves. So it's the most authentic, repeatable, and proven process, because the coach that is leading it is living it. So that would be one thing that, without saying black and white that you as a personal trainer need to be in tip top shape, and or you as an online coach need to have a six pack. Like, yeah, obviously your physique is your walking business card, but you at least need to be living and breathing your framework and your method. Otherwise, you could just scratch your online coaching aspirations altogether. Okay, so now what do you do after you have an offer? Well, this is assuming that you have the infrastructure to actually like deliver, you know, the custom programming, the messaging, and all of the extra value adds that we talked about in your SIN offer. You got to obviously move into the first C of the four C's. And the four C's, I know I briefly explained it earlier in this video, but what it really is, it's about taking a stranger to a paying client. Okay. And the four C's are content, conversation, calls, clients, in that order. In today's day and age, you can't expect someone that you don't know to see a piece of content and go right into a paying client. The amount of people that are going to see an Instagram post and be like, I'm purchasing a 2,000 to 3,000 program from him just from one reel. I mean, come on, guys. It's pretty minuscule with the amount of good physiques and also a lot of proof of concept that are coming out day to day in the fitness industry. So you'd be very naive to think that one piece of content is going to take someone from a stranger not knowing you to paying you thousands of dollars. Okay. There has to be a pipeline and a strategic bucket to bucket strategy that takes someone from seeing a piece of content of yours, okay, being interested in the piece of content to come to your page, like and engage in a few pieces of content, to potentially you as the business owner and coach to strike up a conversation with said person, get to know who they are, foster that connection, reduce the skepticism, understand what they're working towards, and get an expression on what they're looking to accomplish, to then seamlessly invite them and kind of sell the idea of what working together would be like, getting on call, implementing a proper sales call framework, explaining your SIN offer in a way that comes across polished, converting into a high ticket paying client. Okay. So it has to go in little bucket stints. The amount of people that are going from content to paying clients, very minuscule, and more than likely those would be people that already know, like, and trust you because they're in your personal network. So the first thing that you have to do is you have to find your style. Okay. And the only way to find your style with content, unfortunately, is a little bit of trial and error and putting yourself out there. Okay, I can't remember who I heard this from. I want to give the shout out to Michael Smokes at Higher Up Wellness because I saw a piece of content from him the other week. But he was basically saying that there is a direct correlation on you putting yourself in embarrassing situations and how much money you make. There's an absolute direct correlation to you putting yourself out there to get made fun of and your level of income, especially in the day of social media. So your ability to find your style when it comes to organic content is going to come from you actually speaking to the camera, putting yourself out there in the gym environment, bringing a tripod to environments that you're like, I don't know if I want to be that guy or girl. You got to put yourself out there. Typically, and I'm not going to pretend to be the biggest, organic content expert here, but I'm going to break it down into 3 buckets. Okay. Bucket number 1 is called top of funnel content. Okay. You as an Instagram page, you want to obviously be looking to scale. Okay. Yes, we want followers. Yes, we want engagement, but we don't want just followers with no conversion. Right? So top of funnel content is typically the content that has the trending audios, the trends, or whatever you enjoy. And this is kind of where that trial and error comes, that gets eyeballs. Okay. Your entire premise of what top of funnel content is exposure and reach. Okay. This is getting, essentially, think of you posting things on Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, and you casting a net to reel fish into your tank. That's what top of funnel content is. And you need to, obviously, when you're first starting out, you could have the best offer in the world. You could be the best fucking coach in the world. If no one fucking sees your content, you're not selling. So you need to constantly be obviously innovating and figuring out ways that you can get reach to your page. And obviously you can do this through paid advertising as well, but we're going to stick on the organic side. Okay. Now, number 2, this is middle of the funnel. And this is where coaches and influencers massively differ. This is where you as a coach, you live, you breathe, you sleep, and you get damn good and dominant at the middle of funnel. And what middle of the funnel is, it's not high exposure, it's not glamorous, it's more than likely not going to go viral. And guess what? Virality shouldn't be your main goal when it comes to coaching. Okay. It should be bringing in people who, number one, have this disposable income, but 2, who are in the demographic that you know that you can help, and put them and help essentially increase their problem awareness so that they become a buyer from you. Okay. So middle of funnel content, what is it? Middle of funnel content is trust, value, and educational content. This is your talking head. This is your solution oriented, problem solving carousel posts. Okay. Things that show your authority as a person in the industry and in your specific niche and demographic, or psychographic for that matter, and solve problems. Okay. It's sharing mindsets, it's perspective, it's showing people how your framework and how your program gets results, and explaining the common questions that you get from the clients that you already have, or if you have clients at that point, what are they asking? Your active clients will give you the questions that your future clients want to hear about, right? So middle of the funnel is all about solving problems and showing that you understand the problem through numerous angles and addressing how to fix it and correct it. Okay. And then there's bottom of the funnel. Bottom of the funnel is essentially sales. It's proof of concept. Okay. And this is where you have like all the bodybuilding coaches in the world that don't really know how to market. Their page is just flooded with bottom of the funnel. And here's what I'll say. For bodybuilding coaches, one, you're probably not watching this, but if you are, you guys are a little bit of the asterisk in this industry, where bodybuilding clients are already coming in with a problem they're very aware about, and they're more logical in X's and O's, and so they're going to just go with the coach that has the proven track record and gets the most IFBB pro cards, etc. For lifestyle and for other industries in the coaching space, bottom of the funnel is significantly important to have, but having too much bottom of the funnel will never get new business. Okay. Now, when somebody comes to your page, within the first 10 seconds, they better see that you can get results, whether that's a pin post or whether that's you posting before and afters or sharing the wins. And I typically like to do this on a story as well, but your page should also have it. And a lot of people who are probably watching this care more about their feed aesthetic than actually showing bottom of the funnel, proof of concept, before and afters, weight loss, muscle build, change perspective with food, healed relationships, whatever it be. Okay. So bottom of the funnel actually shows that you as a coach can get results, and somebody who's coming to your page who might be curious in hiring you better be able to see that you can deliver on what you're selling very, very quickly. So I'd always recommend having a pin post that has, your proof of concept, as well as obviously your story and kind of how you implemented your method as well. Okay. So that would be the first thing, which is your content. Okay. So we went over content. We went over, that being the first C in the 3 buckets on what you should be prioritizing with your content. And if you are a coach, you should definitely be living more in the middle of funnel than I would say any other area. But depending on where you're at, if you're fresh and you're new, you need a healthy balance of top of funnel, middle of funnel, because there's a good chance you probably have 0 portfolio or 0 bottom of the funnel. And so what you need to do is you need to rely on your story as proof of concept, right? To get those first 5 to 10 clients so that you can coach them exceptionally well, treat them like gold, over deliver, and inch, crawl, and hustle your way to build a portfolio. So that way you open up bottom of the funnel marketing that you can then show to prospective clients that you can actually get results that you're selling. Okay, that's typically the trend. Okay, now if you're a little bit more of a seasoned coach or you have a large following from whatever, then you obviously want to start sorting and qualifying your following. So you're going to want to definitely prioritize more of that middle and the bottom. The next C is conversations. Okay, and honestly, in 2025, this is probably low-key the most important C out of them all because it's the bridge and the gap between content and a call. Okay. And a lot of salespeople and a lot of coaches too that are just normally extroverted kind of have the assumption and kind of the energy that if I can talk to them, I can sell them. Right. So messaging is that key difference. Okay. And unfortunately, with messaging, it's soft skills, right? There's numerous different ways that you can skin this cat, and there isn't necessarily a right or a wrong way. There's the most gray area in messaging because you can do it in numerous different ways. You can run a warm welcome script. When somebody follows you, you can welcome them to the page and essentially try to spark up a conversation there. You can go through like-minded followers or people that are engaging on your account and reach out to people cold. You can give away lead magnets, you can use story polls, you can use CTAs, whatever the case may be. The premise here is your job with social media and content should not be measuring your content success by the number of clients it signs, but more the amount of conversation it derives. And from a messaging standpoint, that is the biggest piece of free game I want to give to you guys is stop viewing your content success by, oh, I didn't get a client signed up this week. I must have to change my entire content strategy. It's, did you have productive conversations with people? Because at the end of the day, when you're looking at the 4 C's, your content's job is to just deliver people to the next bucket. Your messaging goal now, once you have that productive conversation, is how can I get them on a call? Okay. And so what we coach is we coach a formula. Okay. It's called the RPE formula. It's called response. It's called productive. It's called expression. Okay. I think we can all agree that if you are trying to have a conversation by somebody interacting with your page, if they don't respond to you, or if they have no inclination to respond to you, you're dead in the water right there. And yes, don't get me wrong, this is a volume game. This is not going to work at 100% success rate. It's kind of more like baseball. It's like if you hit a single 3 out of 10 times, you're in today's day and age, you're a Hall of Famer, you're batting 300, right? So you're going to fail at this a lot more than you're successful. So it is a volume game, but there are certain things that you can do to make your percentages significantly improve. Okay. But going back to response, you obviously need to get a response from the person before you can go anywhere. Okay. So usually there's a pretty big bottleneck there. Number 2, productive. Okay. Just because somebody responds to you doesn't mean they're going to purchase from you. Doesn't mean that they actually legitimately want to talk to you. Maybe they just feel like, they feel bad, or they're just like, hey, thanks, bro, double tap like, or give an emoji. And again, not a whole lot of productiveness that you can go off of. What you're looking for is you're looking for an opener that's kind of like a no-brainer for them to respond. And then you can kind of strike up a genuine conversation with them that ends up being productive. And what I mean by productive is that they are starting to share goals. You are starting to talk about fitness. You are not coming across like a telemarketer. Hey, are you looking for coaching? That's what's going to happen, right? You're coming across more genuine, more like, hey, appreciate the follow and support. Are you here for, more motivation and for some of the high protein recipes that I post? Or are you actively like chasing a specific physique goal? Right. And that's obviously a little bit more sorting and qualifying if you have if you have high volume on your page, but it could legitimately be as easy as, hey, I appreciate the follow and support. I hope and I genuinely hope that my content encourages you to get outside your comfort zone and pushes you past self-limiting beliefs, right? Send. Has nothing to do with me trying to sell them coaching,
right? Because I'm not trying to sell them to be a client. I'm trying to get a productive conversation first, then get an expression, take that expression, and use that as leverage to get them on call with me. You don't sell coaching until you're on a sales call. You're just taking the conversation to sell a call, not a client. Difference. Okay. So that would be a good way to open. Once you get the conversation rocking and rolling and you're actually starting to get like what they're working towards, maybe a little direction, then you try to weasel your way in to get an expression, right? We want an expression on what they're struggling with. If we get an expression, I like pain more so than I like direction, but both work, then we can go into coach mode. Okay. And what do we do best as coaches? We should, if you're a good coach and you want to get into the space, we shouldn't just be X's and O's. We shouldn't just be do this and this is what happened. It shouldn't be clinical, right? It should be, I completely understand how you feel, right? Here's what I would suggest if I were in your position. Okay, here's what I typically see in the industry or by working with hundreds of people. You are potentially struggling with a structure and direction issue, not knowing what to eat, not knowing when to change your food. And the food is just so stressful that you don't want to think about it and you'd rather outsource it and just be told what to eat and how to eat it. Or you're somebody who struggles with accountability, right? You maybe have some self-limiting beliefs, you have a poor relationship with food, you can't follow a consistent diet for more than 2 weeks because you get bored. Like, which one are you? Okay. And so this is a live example of me essentially. Once I get an expression, let's say that expression is somebody that struggles with nutrition, right? Me subconsciously showing them that I understand the problem and breaking up their problem into 2 root causes. Okay. Essentially getting them to kind of self diagnose. And it kind of gives the vibe that I'm with the client on their side, helping them be more problem aware. Okay. And so what that does is that comes across less salesy, skepticism reduces. And that person who you're talking to in the DMs is like, Matt gets it, right? He understands how I'm feeling. Okay. And then from there, it's an easy transition to be like, look, here's what I would do in your situation. After you told me that these are your goals and we've kind of now developed where you think the root cause is. I don't know if you'd be open for it, but if you're, open to having a conversation, 20, 30 minutes, like I'd love to get to know a little bit more direction and understand of what you're currently doing so I could better help you. And, at that point too, we could also always talk about what maybe working together would look like. Like, are you open for that? I'm free at XYZ time, Monday or Friday. Which one works for you? Okay. And so you start walking them down the road of you are essentially making time for them to get to know them on a more personal level and potentially either offer them more free game or ideally convert them into a paying client. Okay. So that's the key with messaging. It's the soft skills. It's being very surgical with your questions. And it's about positioning yourself to create conviction and reduce skepticism versus being a telemarketer, asking them right off the rip before you've built up any rapport if they're looking for coaching. That is the second thing that you need to master if you are an online coach. Once you've solidified your content kind of consistency and style, now you have to get into the messaging soft skills. For whatever reason, and this happens all the time, if the person says no to you inviting them for a sales call, it's no problem. Okay. I know that you mentioned though that you were struggling with nutrition. No worries, no need to take the call, but I just wanted to send you 33 high protein recipes that you can legitimately start implementing tomorrow just for, getting to have a conversation with you, dude. I hope all is well. Happy to be a resource. Right. And so what this does is it increases your know, like, and trust. And rather than being like a sleazy salesperson, like trying to like objection handle, you're going to move on and you're going to go serve someone who's a little bit more, warm to buy and at least open to having a conversation with you. If they're not open to having a conversation with you, they're more than likely not going to buy from you. So what you do in that scenario is you give them a lead magnet, a cookbook, a training plan, whatever
ideally positions you to solve what they've expressed, that's going to increase your know, like, and trust. And ideally, you gain their name, number, and email that you can then follow up with, email market to, etc. Okay. So when you're in your messaging, you should always be looking to get one or two outcomes. Number one, obviously, get them onto a booked sales discovery call. Number two, increase your know, like, and trust, right? People remember how you make them feel more so than how and what you say. So when that person, come January 1st, has that light bulb moment, like, I need to get better in shape, who the heck are they going to remember? Are they going to remember the coach that is sleazy and salesy and trying to force them onto a call where they don't really know a whole lot about you? Or are they going to remember the coach that had a productive conversation with you, told you what you needed to hear, helped you kind of find the root cause of your problems, and then when you objected to a sales call, they said, no problem, I don't necessarily need your business, but I want to help you anyway because I like your story, and they give you something that you can legitimately implement that's highly curatable? Come on. Who are they picking? Who are they going to go back to? Person B. So you'd be surprised in just what a genuine conversation and some free game can do for your business if you start positioning yourself in that regard. Okay. So pending that all goes well, C number 3, calls. Okay. Now, with strategic content and proper soft skills and messaging, you now have a sales call. Congrats. You are one step away from getting your first high ticket paying client. And when done in excess, this is how you become a 10K coach. Okay. You can literally do just these 3 things and make an absorbent amount of money, more money than you would make at any associate and honestly some director level positions in corporate America, just from these 3 skill sets. That's the power of online coaching if you do it properly. So just want to point that out there. So, sales call framework. Okay. Your performance and energy here is obviously going to be critical. You want to be enthusiastic. And again, this is kind of sales, so everybody has their own objective opinion on it. So here's kind of where I'm kind of in the middle. You definitely want to be positive. You want to be high energy, but you don't want to be so high energy where you're like, oh, happy go lucky. It's just kind of weird, to be honest with you. And it's just like, you shouldn't be that excited for a sales call if you're a professional that takes 5 sales calls a day. Okay. It shouldn't be clinical. It should obviously have some empathy and some energy and some enthusiasm. You should be looking forward to speaking with the person, but it shouldn't be high energy to the point where you scream like, I have no other sales calls, I'm desperate. Okay. So you definitely want to build some rapport. Okay. But at the end of the day, you want to be very intentional with the order of your sales call. Okay, so I'm going to go through a little bit of a sales call framework with you. And again, if you want more information on this, shoot me a message me or comment down below. I'll send you a free, literally 7-figure sales framework I've been using since 2019 that has helped me do over 5 million in total lifetime fitness sales. Let me know if you want it. Okay. Anyway, so the first thing that you want to do, okay, is you want to understand that fitness, for most of you, is an impulse emotional buy. Okay. It's, again, unless you're working with bodybuilding competitors that want the logical X's and O's, 9 out of 10 times you're talking to people that are problem aware. They just don't know if you're the solution for them yet. They're a little hesitant, or fact of the matter is they're just not an action taker, right? That's your job. Okay. So the saying that I like to kind of give people, and I said this when I was talking on the panel earlier, is people want to lose weight when they're staring themselves in the mirror. But the second they go into the kitchen and open up the fridge or open up the pantry, they're like, what weight loss? Right? So you got to strike when the iron's hot. And for the most part in fitness, you really are looking for a one call close. Most of the time, when you get people that are like, I need to think about it, I need to talk to my spouse, you're not getting the conversion. You're not getting that follow up because unfortunately, us as humans, we're just wired for comfort, and fitness inherently is an uncomfortable topic for a lot of people. Okay. And the more time they have to sit with it, your percentage of closing goes down. Okay. So you are genuinely looking for a one call close when you're doing fitness coaching. Okay. So that puts more pressure on you as the coach, if you're doing your own sales calls, to have a framework that is polished and for you to come across in the sales call like you are professional with the energy that I'd love to help you, but I don't need your business, right? Kind of that reverse psychology where you're not desperate for the close, but you are confident that you are the expert to help them. That's kind of the energy. And so, what the first part of a sales call framework should be building a little rapport, okay, finding some commonalities. Sure, if you can make them laugh, I think, a lot of people go into like, should you make them laugh? Should you be more like stern with it? Your personality and also adapt your personality to who's on call. Okay, use context clues. All right. But once you kind of build rapport and it starts to naturally die down, you got to set the call structure. You got to set the intention and the organization of the call right out of the gate. Okay. And what this does is it makes the prospective client feel like they're driving the car. Little do they know, it's more or less like you being the backseat driver, tapping them on the shoulder and saying, turn right here, right? So ultimately, you need to have control of the call, but your perspective should be the one doing the action, speaking more, and essentially self-selling themselves into your program. Okay, and so here's how you kind of do that. So number one, what does like setting the call look like? So I'll give it to you kind of live just so you get an experience. And I'm going to go right off the cusp here. So Emmy, okay, appreciate you taking the time. So the way that I like to do my discovery calls here is I really like to make them more or less like a two-way conversation. Okay, nobody really likes a one-way fitness sales call pitched down their throat. And that's not really how we operate here at MW, truthfully, because we care about putting the right people in our program versus anyone who flashes a credit card. Okay, so genuinely, I want to just start with having a conversation. I need to get to know you a little bit more, understand your direction, understand kind of the struggles and bottlenecks in your journey, understand the timeline, and understand kind of where you're at mentally in order to dictate if I can help you or not in the first place. Okay, does that sound fair? Cool. Okay, after that, I'll gladly open up the floor for questions. I'd love for you. I hope you've watched some of our, pre-call kind of homework and some of the videos that we send, just so you're a little bit more in tune on what we offer and how we do everything kind of from the behind the scenes and kind of what you can expect, right? So I'd love to open up the floor for you to ask questions and gain clarity. Okay, a lot of times I see people hesitate with fitness is because they just simply cannot conceptualize how my program is going to help them, or they just lack clarity. Right. So I want to make sure that throughout this call, you have the utmost clarity to make a decision that's responsible for you. Okay. After that, if we align, I will gladly explain how and what working together would be like. And I will walk you through our framework that has helped over, 1,000+ people. Okay. And then after that, we'll kind of, align there, see how we're both feeling. And if we both feel good, I'll then ask if you're comfortable, discussing availability and the different investment options. Does that sound good? Cool. So sounds very genuine, right? But I'm legitimately setting structure to the call so that you don't just let the client ramble on. Okay. And I think also, if you're watching this, you've probably been on a fitness sales call maybe 1 or 2 times and you've asked the client like, hey, what are your struggles? And they just go on an absolute rampage about how they have an eating disorder, how their boyfriend left them, how they have all this trauma. This is a trauma dump you. And you're like, what, like, how do I respond to that? Okay, so this kind of creates levers and parameters and just boundaries in your sales call to try to control and prevent that. Okay, so the second phase, and this is probably, honestly, is my favorite part, truthfully, because I genuinely enjoy talking about people's fitness journeys and getting to know them. But if you do this phase right, you will absolutely sell them. You will get 90% of the way there, and you will also eliminate half of the objection handle BS that you deal with of the, I don't know if I can, it might be the money. I don't know if it's the right time. I got to talk to my spouse. Just that hesitation, right? And that resistance. This is what's going to, if you ask questions in the proper order, how to eliminate that. Okay, so the first question that we ask is getting a direction.
Okay, we're not diagnosing anything yet, but as much as we want to pretend we're a doctor or mechanic kind of taking a look under the hood or prescribing like why our program will fit them, we're just trying to get direction. So why are they here? What are they looking to accomplish, et cetera, right? We got to get direction because their goals are what we're going to tie back. Number two is kind of their pain points, their setbacks, their struggles. We got to see what's preventing them from getting to XYZ goal. Okay. Number 2B, once you have direction, once you have the bottlenecks and the struggle, you want to double down on the struggle and get them to essentially unfold and be even more vulnerable about said struggle to break down the root cause of said struggle. Okay, so look, if their goal is that they want to lose weight and their struggle is that they struggle with nutrition, right? You want to get that struggle with nutrition broken down to, oh, okay, not only do I struggle with nutrition, but I struggle with nutrition because I have had a bad relationship with food growing up. Okay. I done 3 other online coaching programs. They put me at 1,200 calories with an hour cardio a day, and I was miserable and I drove myself to the ground. Okay. And I felt like this wasn't sustainable. I have no time to think about what to eat. And because of that, I just give up on nutrition altogether. I have a significant other that encourages me and pushes me to eat out all the time because he or she doesn't have any structure with their diet, right? We need to get the root causes of why they're struggling with their main surface level goal so that we can also kind of show that we understand it. Okay. And so again, the best way to do that is once you hear the struggle, presenting said struggle based on your experience in binary options. So again, going back to nutrition, like, hey, so in my experience with nutrition, it usually stems from, your mentality and your perspective with food and just having that accountability, or it's a structure and direction issue. Your schedule's too busy. You don't want to think about it. You got kids to feed. You don't want to make 3 different meals. Which one are you? Right? So consciously it shows that you've helped solve this problem hundreds of times and you get them to self-diagnose which one they fall into. Usually it's a collection of both, but which one they feel like is the absolute root cause on why there's a problem in the first place. And guess what? Your program, from a fitness coaching standpoint, solves both. So it doesn't matter which one they pick. You're just getting them to affirm, hey, I have a nutritional goal. Here's the deeper level root cause of it. Okay. Second or third question, sorry, that was 2 and 2B. Third question is timeline. Okay. We want to understand how long this person has been suffering and struggling with not achieving the goal as well as the problem and the root cause of it. Right. So, and the longer the better. Like, 3 months sounds frustrating, but 3 years sounds devastating, right? So the longer, the better here. Okay. So what you do is your final question, okay, which is more mentality and also more of the like self-sell me, is why are you now ready to hire a coach, make that investment in your health and fitness journey, and finally find the program that is going to put you in a position to achieve XYZ goal by solving the root cause of ABC problem rather than kicking it down the road for insert timeline that they've been struggling with. So you use the framework of questioning to position that final question to take what they told you and repackage it into a question to literally ask them point blank, why now? Okay, and what this does is this positions you as a person where you're like, yo, I only work with serious people. Why are you now ready to work with me? Right? And they haven't even heard about your program, but just from that vibe, you're coming across like you're an expert, you are an authoritative figure, and this person, just because you're asking them now a question on like why now, they're going to now circle in their brain and figure out every single reason why they want to show you that they're ready. And they're just going to affirm and affirm and affirm, selling themselves into your program. Okay. And so now you have all of this ammunition on their direction, their big struggle, but also the root causes. You have the timeline, and you've gotten them to legitimately express why they are now ready to make this investment. All of that is ammunition to use if they ever objection handle. Okay. And now you combine this with, you allow them to open up the floor, ask questions. Now you also know the exact questions that they need clarity on as well in order to move forward. Okay. And all you need to do is you need to explain your essay and offer framework with the pain points and questions in mind and provide clarity there. And literally, they will basically say, where do I need to sign up by the end of the call? That is, at the end of the day, what a sales call framework should look like versus trying to sell features. And that is the biggest red flag, or not even a red flag, more just like a mistake that newer coaches try to do is, again, they take personal training and how they sell personal training and they bring it online, and it sounds cheap, it sounds low value, and the prospective client's perceived value, 50 to $100, like $200 max, right? But if I put a polished program and I essentially get you to affirm all the reasons why you're emotionally invested into solving it, and I create a program that provides you clarity, step-by-step deliverables on exactly how we're going to get you there. Not to mention I have, hundreds and over 1,000 now of proof of concept. Don't matter what the price tag is. They're ready. They're ready to make that purchase. So once you were done like explaining your SIM framework, and let me tell you, when you've done this properly when they're like, so when can I start? Right? They're literally already jumping the gun, asking you when you're available, like you're on the money. So typically the way that I like to pitch my availability and then investment options, I always like to get a commitment to a start date first. So I start with availability. So I will literally be, quick little temperature check, like, okay, so do you have any other questions on how the program works? You want to just do one final revamp to make sure that they have full clarity. You never want to go into price and investment without double checking that they have full clarity, because then it opens up the floor for like objections like, well, I had a question on XYZ. You want to solve that. You want to make sure that they've affirmed that I have no other questions. What's your availability and price point? And they're ready to move forward into that conversation. Okay. So once you've obviously done that due diligence and that check, I always like to go right into my calendar. Okay. So, and I like to always pick a week or two in advance so that it's not like I can start them immediately because I'm too busy. I have too many client inquiries subconsciously, right? So again, an example of that would look like, so looking at the calendar right now, I do have, Monday, 2 weeks from today, November, blah, 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 blah. And let me actually do it live. Let me literally look at the calendar. So I would literally do this. I'd be like, okay, so, today's October 25th. So the earliest that I could start you is actually going to be November 3rd. We need a little bit of time on my team just to, again, build out your protocols. Everything's done from scratch. It's personalized. And again, we also operate on a first come, first serve service. And, we have the 27th already booked out. So the earliest I could get you started as November 3rd, or I can get you started November 10th, which is that next Monday. I typically only start X amount of clients on a given Monday just for organizational purposes. Which one of those start dates works better for your schedule? Okay. And I get them to affirm a start date. November 10th. Awesome. Cool. So now I move into the different investment options. Okay. And so the investment options on how you pitch it is really case dependent on what you're looking for and also what your business needs are. And I know this is going to come across potentially different, but I like to, when I'm a newer coach, right, I want to chase MRR. Okay. And that stands for monthly recurring revenue. And the reason I want to chase that versus pay in fulls and like super high ticket numbers is because I want consistency and I want a little bit of stability. And I want to know what's coming into my business. If I didn't post one single piece of content or brought on one single client, there's some security in that.
Okay, obviously we're an entrepreneur now. We're in this fitness game. Like, you're gonna have volatility, and if you don't like that, you're in the wrong career. But having at least like 4 to 5K, building MRR up to that level as an online coach, knowing that if I wanted to go on a 2 week vacation and I just wanted to service my existing clients and not bring in any business, I'm still making 5K. There's a level of security and stability in that, to know like, hey, you know, I could also spend some of that money on a videographer. I could do a cool passion project. I could, have a little money to pay for ads, versus always being behind the ball and being like, I'm starting at zero because my model is just pay in full model. Okay. So I would recommend earlier coaches use an MRR based. So rather than pitching like, my program is, 2 grand for 6 months and stopping there, what I would do is I would pitch it in. So I have two different investment options. We have, a pay in full option at 2,000, or I have a month to month installment option where you could break down that investment into 6 installments if that's a little bit easier on your cash flow and budget. And what's going to happen is 9 out of 10 times, there's going to be people that pay up front because people don't like reoccurring, but because you're not incentivizing the pay in full, people are just naturally going to go to, oh yeah, I'll get started for, 275, $300 a month, like whatever the total price is divided by 6, same price regardless. They're going to go with the monthly. The way that you can incentivize a pay in full is 2 different ways. One, you can discount the pay in full and then charge more for the month installments, meaning I could be like, hey, so our program, we have 2 different investment options. We have a, option number 1, which is 2,000 pay in full, or we have 6 installments of 400. So you end up paying 2,400 across the 6 months if you want to break that payment down into 6 smaller payments, or it would be a one-time payment of 2,000. And so you incentivize the pay in full because there's a $400 discount. Okay. Another way that you could do it too is if you want to just go straight pay in full model, is you could go split pay or one lump sum payment. So you could go with the, understanding of, hey, so our program, we have 2 different investment options. Okay. We have investment option number 1, which is 2 payments of 1,500, or we have investment option number 2, which is 1 payment of 2,500. Okay. So that gets a good lump sum pay in full because they either do 2 $1,500 payments for 3 grand total, or a one-time 2,500, say 500. So there's a couple different ways that you can pitch. And I'm not going to go into the buy now, pay later method because those things come and go. And I know a lot of coaches use that, but ethically, I really do not believe that as a starting coach, you should be selling people into your program that financially can't afford and have to finance it. You can do that potentially later on when you have little bit more proven work and systems. You want to work with people that are financially willing and able, because at the end of the day too, you got to prove to yourself that you can get results, right? So you want to make sure that these people aren't like scraping by putting those people into your program. And to be honest with you, I've never had someone who used a buy now, pay later method that wasn't a headache. I honestly don't even offer it. I know a lot of coaches would probably disagree with me, but I value, bringing people in that are not financially stressed and can allocate to a luxury service. So that is how I would pitch it. That is essentially my TED Talk for online coaches that want to go from 0 to 10K. How you would do it: you start with an offer, you do some business 101, a proper business analysis, you make sure you have good fulfillment and good service. And I promise you, if you're just starting off, good service, good word of mouth will keep you in business for a lot longer than chasing virality and content. Treat your first 5 to 10 clients like gold, because you have to prove that you can actually get results. And more than likely, these people are going to be people in your personal network who know you, who have trusted you without any need of, can Matt deliver the product or service he's actually selling? Put your heart and soul into those clients. Over deliver. Don't fall into the habit of being the coach that from the get-go is like, my time is worth thousands of dollars. I'm going to focus on bringing in new business and I'm going to forget about the fulfillment. The fact of the matter is, and respectfully, is your time isn't worth shit because you haven't proved that you can get any results. So you got to hustle. You got to show that you can get results. You got to implement the 4 C's. You got to find your style. You got to get reach. You got to nourish said reach by talking to them, eventually open up that bottom of the funnel. You got to be a killer with the soft skills and be personable and reduce skepticism and give free game and invite for calls. And then you got to really implement and be polished on a sales call. And I know this sounds all overwhelming, but I promise you, with practice and direction, it gets pretty effortless and it becomes very streamlined. So I hope you learned something today. We're going to wrap up this YouTube video with this, guys. If you have any questions, message me on IG, or you could shoot a comment in the section below. But the YouTube videos from kind of here on out for a little bit are going to be more business oriented, and we'll have some physique updates as well, but they're definitely going to be more business oriented, as I'm not going to be in a bodybuilding prep for probably 2 years before I do my pro debut. And I'm a business owner first, guys. Okay. As much as I love bodybuilding, it has given me numerous opportunities. Business is my heart and soul, and I want to start giving back to you guys, even if you're not an aspiring online coach. If you just want to get into the entrepreneurship game, if it just stimulates your mind, I hope this helps. If you are an online coach, I want you to implement this, because I promise you, this is the ticket to getting out of your corporate job and making your first 10K. The sky's the limit. Cheers.